background about the GoPro company and comparing all of the GoPro Hero 3 cameras. All of the GoPro cameras come with a waterproof housing, a USB charging camera, and lots of great attachments and other things. They're used to take pictures in sports, action shots, and nature. The GoPro cameras first came to the market in 2004, and ever since they hit the market, every single year they've doubled in making money. And in 2012, they made $2.3 million. Well, they sold 2.3 million cameras, and they made $521 million. These cameras are used by professional athletes, amazing photographers, and adventurers, and people like me. I think that GoPro cameras are amazing because they have the models to satisfy anyone from beginner level all the way up to professional level. All of the Hero 3 models include the white edition, which is the lowest, the silver edition, which is the mid-level, and then the black edition, which is the best. I initially bought the silver edition, but I sadly lost that one at Crescent Bay and Laguna Beach, and I don't have that one with me today. Then after that, I replaced that camera with the Hero 3 white edition because that was all I could afford at the time. And for my 13th birthday, I received the Hero 3 Plus Black Edition. And I have the Hero 3 White Edition with me today, and you can pass it around as I talk about it. Like I said earlier, the Hero 3 White Edition is a beginner level camera. And this camera retails for $199, and for the beginner level, it has some really great features for just starting out. It has HD video, and it can range anywhere from 720p all the way to 1080p. And the numbers I just said, those stand for the numbers of lines that go across the screen to make the picture quality. And for a comparison of that, older TVs used to have 480 lines, so these GoPro cameras are a lot better than the older TVs. And the P stands for progressive scan, which scans the screen 2 times faster than interlace scan and has better quality. So the more lines you have on your screen, the better quality it will be. Then there's FPS. FPS stands for frames per second. And the more frames per second you have, the smoother your slow motion will be if you set it for that setting. This camera can take 5 megapixel photos in a single mode or a burst. Now in this camera, it can only take up to 3 pictures on burst at a time, which isn't all that great for fast-moving objects. It also has a time-lapse mode, which helps you capture sunsets, sunrises, etc. This camera also has a built-in Wi-Fi mode, which you can connect to any smartphone using the GoPro app to watch your videos or change the settings. The White Edition has a minimum battery life of 2 hours and 15 minutes and a maximum of 3 hours, and this is just like the Silver Edition. Then the next camera from the White Edition is the Silver Edition, which is the mid-level camera. This camera retails for $299, and it can range anywhere from 720p to 1080p, just like the Hero 3 White Edition, except it has better FPS on these settings. Also, unlike the Hero 3 White Edition, on 1080p it can have more frames per second compared to the White Edition. And the frames per second on this camera range anywhere from 25 to 120, so it doubles the Hero 3 White Edition. Then when you're taking pictures on this camera, it has 10 megapixels, unlike the White Edition, which has 5, so it doubles the megapixels. Also, it can take up to 10 pictures in 1 second, which is really great for fast-moving objects. And this camera's minimum battery life is the same exact battery life as the Hero 3 White Edition. Then the last camera that there is the Hero 3 Black Edition. And it's definitely not the least, and it's for people who are into all types of professional photography, such as wave and beach photography, adventures and action sports, or just using it for whatever you want. And this camera will retail at any store for $400. And I have this camera with me today. And this camera also comes with a Wi-Fi remote, and you can pass around the 2 cameras again to compare them. This camera is a lot simpler in its case. It'll have bigger buttons on the camera, and it's just a lot smoother and better. It runs faster, and it has a lot longer battery life. After researching it, purchasing it, and using this camera over and over again, I'm still stunned with what this camera can do picture and video-wise. The resolutions on this camera are insane. It can range from 720p to 4000 to 4K. And 4K resolution, that's a 8 megapixel video, which is really awesome for this small of a camera and for shooting with it. Also, this GoPro Black Edition has a super view mode, which lets you see the world in a really immense field of view. Then for the FPS on this camera, it can range anywhere from 12 all the way up to 240 FPS. And when you're using 240 frames per second, that's practically like having an automatic slow motion mode on your camera. And some of these settings include a Pro Tune mode, which lots of people use for making movies or professional videos. Also, this camera has a low light mode, which is really great for taking videos in near darkness. And just like I mentioned earlier, on the Super View mode, it's just really awesome because you can see a lot wider view and you can get a lot more in the shot. Another great thing that this camera can do is it has 12 megapixel photos. And you can set it for a burst setting, and you can take all the way up to 30 pictures in 1 second at 12 megapixels. Then the last setting this camera has is a time-lapse mode. And just like I mentioned earlier, it can take sunsets, sunrises, etc. in a fast mode. This camera also comes with a Wi-Fi remote, like I passed around, and all you have to do is press and press again the little button to start and stop it. You can also change all of the settings on the camera. And you can do all of this from up to 500 feet away. Don't get me wrong, they're all great cameras, but I really think that the Hero 3 Black Edition is the way to go. It's honestly the best by a landslide. It has a lot better resolution, frames per second, and view angles. If you're going to purchase a GoPro camera, I would definitely recommend getting the GoPro Black Plus. Even though it's $400 and it's a lot more than the other cameras, I definitely think that it's worth it.